Welcome, my constant reader friends. My name is Tad, and you're watching Tad Reads Books and Stuff. So, a little bit about myself. I decided to start this channel because I'm getting older, and I need to try and keep track of what I'm reading. Now, I do use Goodreads to list the books that I'm reading. If you find me on Goodreads, you're going to see that I do not do reviews, but I will give a star rating. I don't like the Goodreads star rating. It's only 5 stars. You can think what you want about the Goodreads, but I use it to keep track of what I've read during the year. Now, using the video form, now I can actually get my thoughts down a little bit more on what I've been reading and remind myself of the things that I loved and the things maybe that I didn't love while I was reading. Now, I've been reading since as long as I can remember. My mother was a voracious reader. She would have a book in every room she went into. She could always pick a book up and start reading it. And I would find myself as a small child just staring at her bookshelves and wondering what were the stories that were in those books. So I actually learned to read early in my life, and I can tell you when I was 9, 10 years old, I started reading Salem's Lot by Stephen King. So of course, to this day, like many of you, Stephen King is my favorite author, and I constantly read Stephen King. If a new book comes out, I read it. Now, what are my reading habits? I don't read very fast. I read very slowly. I've seen other booktubers talk about reading, easily 100 pages an hour. I'm lucky if I read 30 pages an hour. But I do try to read, every night, every evening. So what do I want to achieve with this channel? Well, pretty much I'm using it to focus on my hobbies that I love to do. Of course, reading is one of the oldest hobbies I've had my whole life. And sometimes we'll talk about movies, TV shows that I'm watching, things like that. Again, I also want to just keep track of, what I've been reading and how I feel about those books. If you do look at my Goodreads, you will see that it says that I've read 88 books this year. Well, they're counting everything. I put everything that I read in there. So if I read a comic book, it's going, to count as a book that I've read. If I listen to something on Audible, I know some people don't count listening as reading a book. I do, but sometimes I listen to all kinds of things, and I do log it into my Goodreads. So take it with a grain of salt. Did I read 88 books? No, I didn't read 88 books this year. I don't count it even that high. But I do want to use this channel as a kind of avenue to talk about the books I've read. I love to talk about the books I've read, so maybe I can talk with you about the books that I'm reading or have read. Also, who knows, maybe I can find some new friends along the way, along this journey. I just want to document my hobby. So, what are we doing next? Well, as you see over here, I have a stack of books. These books right here are what I got for Christmas, and I just wanted to actually go through them and show you what I got. So let's start off with this one here. I got The Haunting of Hill House. Now this is Shirley Jackson, and I have to admit I have never read this book. I've never read any Shirley Jackson. I think that's a shame, and it will be rectified. I will read this book this year. I did watch the Netflix series, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know about you. I don't know if you've, seen this series. You maybe can talk about it. Leave a comment on what you felt about the series. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the Blythe Manor one as well. So that is one book that I will definitely make sure that I get read. Now, one of my goals is to read all of these books that I received for Christmas gifts this year. It should be easy, but who knows? Now, what else did I get this year? So I got Miracle Man, book 1 and book 3. I didn't get book 2. I need to get book 2. There's also a 4th book that is when Neil Gaiman took over writing Miracle Man. Now, some of you may know or may not know, the Miracle Man was written by Alan Moore, and one of my all-time favorite writers, actually. But check this out. What does it say there? It says story, the original writer. Doesn't say Alan Moore. Why is that? Well, you can look into that yourself and see that Alan is not very happy with some of the things that happen in the industry, and has asked, I guess, apparently to have his name removed from things. Even, the movie adaptations, which his books, I think, are great. But I will be reading that this year. I do have to get book 2 for sure. I read these comics years ago, actually when they first came out as individual comics. Now I do like how they, gather a lot of these stories into book form. So I'll be reading it again this year. Next up is Crooked Kingdom. Now this is the second book in a duology by Leigh Bardugo. Now you'll see I do have the Six of Crows over here, which is the first book in this duology. Now, let me tell you, a lot of people have mixed feelings about the 3 novels that precede this duology, and I haven't read them. I've only read the Six of Crows, and I pretty much enjoyed it. They're very good reading. I thought the story was great, and so I look forward to reading the second one in that duology, Crooked Kingdom. The Netflix series, I think, was actually pretty good. It kind of blends the first trilogy and Six of Crows together. It's the same world, but in the novels, the time frames are completely different. But in the TV series, they kind of meld them together. I think they did a great job, and I was really pleasantly surprised with how much I liked watching that series. I hope the second year comes out soon and we can continue with that. Alrighty, now next. You know it's here, Stephen King. Stephen King is my all-time favorite author, as I'm sure it is with many of you. This is Billy Summers, and I have not read this yet. Thankfully, I got it for Christmas. It is the most recently released Stephen King novel. I did read later, and I very much enjoyed that. Came out before this book, but I'm probably late to the party. And you'll see this with a lot of my reading. I'm not up on all the fresh new books like some of the YouTubers are, and throughout this journey I will be reading new books, old books. You'll see I read science fiction, I read horror, I read fantasy, I read history, anything that I can get my hands on that I may enjoy, I read. So this is another one that will be read this year for sure, because I love Stephen King. Let's set that down now. All right, so Have you all been watching this series on TV, The Expanse? Now, it's been an up and down viewing for me. Some of the characters I think are too cardboard or too cookie cutter. Holden drives me crazy in the series that I'm watching. I'm hoping that maybe it's different in the books. For Christmas, I did get book 1. I got book 2, 7, and 8, which means I have a gap in there, I know. But I'll fill that up. But I'm going to start reading this year. And, you know, many people say the book's much better than the movie or much better than the TV series. I hope that's the case. I don't hate the TV series. I actually am enjoying it. It's just sometimes I find myself yelling at the characters on the TV. You know, why are you doing this? It's ridiculous. I don't know. That's me. I yell at the TV sometimes. So we'll be reading this year and next. All right. So this is probably my 3rd favorite author, Tad Williams. Not only does he share my name, Tad, which is great, but an amazing fantasy writer. If you have not read Tad Williams, you have to read Tad Williams. It's just, his character building is amazing. This Ostenard world that he has created is amazing. Now this is book 2 of the 2nd trilogy in the Ostenard novels. I have do I have it? Yes, I have the first one right here, and I haven't started reading them yet. I kind of was thinking about waiting till all 3 are out so then I can kind of binge them, but I will be reading these this year. Of course, I'll start with the Witchwood Crown and go on to this one. Now he's also released 2 novellas that are in this world. I've read them and some mixed feelings about them, so we'll see. I'm kind of nervous about this because I've loved, you know, the Dragonbone Chair was one of my favorite novels of all time. So we will be hitting Tad Williams again this year. Can't wait. And look at this. Look at that cover. It's beautiful. Unbelievable. I really love this. All right, next. Oh, jeez. I got this. This is heavy. This is Neil Gaiman. And of course, it's the Annotated American Gods, which I love reading annotated novels. I recently just finished the Annotated Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and very interesting. Some of the language he uses and words he uses, you know, aren't maybe familiar with us in today's world, and they explained everything in that annotation, and I really enjoyed it. So I look forward to reading this this year. I am a bit of a Neil Gaiman fan, but not huge. I do have some others from him. I have Anansi Boys, Neverwhere, and this Unnatural Creatures over here. I don't know if you can see it. It was edited by Neil Gaiman, short stories edited by Neil Gaiman, and it's pretty good. I have read Neverwhere. I have not read Anansi Boys yet, but this is another one that I will be reading this year, you know, as soon as I can get to it. Hopefully it'll be awesome. All right, now we're getting down to another stack. Assassin's Quest, Robin Hobbs. Let me say, I have not read any Robin Hobbs before. I know, shock. I understand. I'm behind. I haven't read everything. There was a period where I didn't read anything for a while, as I was raising my son and very active with him. But This now here is the third in this series here, Assassin's Apprentice, Royal Assassin, and then Assassin Quest. So I will be starting this series, of course, with the first book this year. And I don't know, everyone says that she is a beautiful writer, very similar to Tad Williams in her writing. Her prose is beautiful. So let's see. We'll see if I like her as much as everyone else seems to. All right, this is the big one. This one is kind of, I don't know what to do. This is the third book by Joe Abercrombie in this trilogy, Wisdom of Crowds. Now I do have the other two. I have Little Hatred. I have Trouble with Peace by Joe Abercrombie. Luckily, all of them are actually signed by the author, which gives me glee, makes me happy. But I don't know what to do. I know I don't have to do anything, but should I read the first trilogy? The Blade itself? I could start with that. I do have it on Audible, and I don't know. I guess I'm asking, do I have to read the first trilogy to understand what's going on in this trilogy, or can I go ahead and start reading this because I really want to, but I don't want to miss anything? I'm kind of a completionist, you know. If I start with something, I want to get everything of it. So I think that's what what I'm gonna do is start listening to the audiobook for The Blade itself. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll get an audiobook and start listening to that, and especially if it's like a trilogy or a longer series, and that way I can judge if I'm enjoying the book. Will I go ahead and then purchase the novels and read them, or at least that way I'm not really spent too much money on books. I've listened to it. If it's not that good or something that I really don't like, then I don't have to continue with the series. Now that's one thing I will tell you. When I talk about these books after I've read them, I'm going to be honest. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. If I love it, I'm going to tell you I love it, but I will always give, reasons for everything. Usually it's in between for me. When I rate a book on Goodreads, I usually rate it 3 stars. It's got to be really a little special, more special for me to give it 4. And 5 stars, that's very rare for me. It's just because, I don't know, maybe if there were more stars available in the rating system on Goodreads, it would be better, because I could, narrow it down a little bit more. 5 stars really isn't a lot. So for me to give it a 5 star, it's got to be perfect. And it's hard to find something perfect. But I will be reading this series this year. Can't wait. Everyone has said how great this is. I can't wait. I know. Again, I'm behind. I know this. I know this about myself. All right, next. Paper Girls. I don't know if any of you have read this series. The artwork in this is really cool. I love the style. The colors are great. Now, I have read book 1 and book 2. I have book 2 on my shelf right here. Book 1 I actually loaned out to a friend of mine, so I can't show it to you physically. But I'm really loving this series right here. This is book 3. I will be getting to that this year. I believe book 4 has now been released, and of course, because I'm a completionist, I will complete this series. I guess I wouldn't if I didn't like it, so at least I'm explaining that I like it. But we'll see. I haven't read this one yet. This will be read very shortly. All right, what's next? All right, Timothy Zahn. Yes, I'm a Star Wars fan, just like many of you. I just got this for Christmas. This is the third book in the trilogy. I do have the first two. I haven't read any of them yet. I knew it was going to be a trilogy. I was kind of waiting until I got the whole series before I started reading it. So again, I will be reading the first novel probably very shortly. It's my plan to start this series this month, January. So we'll see. I love Timothy Zahn's writing, and I do have his old they call it Legends series on Thrawn, and really good, well written. I do like Timothy Zahn, so we'll be hitting that this year, probably this month. I think this is my goal. My goal is bam. All right, I am a huge Terry Brooks fan. I know there's a lot of booktubers out there who put Terry down because of the sort of genre and how closely it resembles Lord of the Rings. You got to understand, that's when that book was written, Terry was just trying to get a book published. He went to Lester Del Rey. Lester took him under his arm and kind of guided him and told him exactly how to kind of write that first sort of genre book. I don't care what anybody says. It's great. I don't care how close you think it is to Lord of the Rings. It's great. It's fun reading. I read for entertainment, enjoyment, and you can't have any more enjoyable reading than reading the genre books by Terry Brooks. I may do a whole reread of everything. He has finished the genre series, and now he has started a new one. I hope it's a series. He hasn't really said yet, but this is the new book. This is Child of Light by Terry Brooks. Now, I did get this for Christmas. I did get it signed. Yes, it says, and he's awesome. It says, to Tad, Terry Brooks. Now, I've seen Terry. I went to one of his readings, and he's the nicest guy in the world. He will sit after he does his presentation, and he will stay as long as he has to. He will meet everybody that wants to meet him, and he will sign every book that you bring to him. So, needless to say, I have most of his books are signed by him, and happily this one is as well. So, what am I going to do? Starting today, today's January 1st, I'm going to start to read this book. Again, I don't read fast. It may take me 7 to 10 days to read this book here, but this will be the first one I'm going to read. While I'm reading this book, I will start Paper Girls number 3, and I really think I'm going to just start listening to The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie and start delving into that world too. This is what I, like I said, what I kind of like to do is read a novel, read some type of manga or comic book or, something like that, kind of as a palate cleanser while I'm reading other novels. So once I finish reading this novel, this one, I will go on to, I think I'm going to start the trilogy for this. So Chaos Rising. So hopefully I'll be able to get all that finished in the month of January. 2 novels, graphic novel, and I'll listen to Joe Abercrombie's The Blade Itself. Now normally, because my actual job, I drive all day, I have the ability to listen to audiobooks while I'm driving, and that helps me to actually get more books read. So in a month, I easily can listen to 2 novels. I should be able to read 2 novels and the graphic novel. So that's 5 in a month. What am I going to listen to for my second one? I think I've really been wanting to listen to The Guns of August by Barbara Tuchman. It's supposedly one of the best novels written about World War I. So very interested to read that. I've had it actually for a while and been meaning to listen to it, but I just haven't started it yet. So that's my plan for January. As I go, I'll make more videos. I'll update my reading progress and what I'm thinking about what I'm reading at the time. Also, I believe my next video I'll probably do a top 10 of what I read in 2021 and try to figure out, you know, out of those supposed 88 books that I read, my top 10 for 2021. All right, well, that's it. I hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas and got some great books to read. I would love to see comments telling me what you got for Christmas and you know, what you're looking forward to reading in 2022. If you could please like and subscribe, hit the bell notification, all those good things for YouTube, which I'm just learning. I would appreciate it. And all right, peace out. Thank you.